Testing. Testing. Welcome to Genesis Glitches. Today, we are diving further into the characters I already have. Getting an invite from somebody I know. Unfortunately, we're not going to play with them right now. Could play with them later. But we're going to continue where we left off, going through all of the characters, sort of introducing what they are, the sort of deeper truth and meaning behind the character, what the character represents, the character's powers, any restrictions or things that are sort of required in the match when you play with a certain character, and just introducing more of the universe. Okay, so last time the stream microphone actually cut out, and I was not quite... I couldn't make any TikToks, and you could not hear me speak about the characters. So those characters were Ripper, Morning After, and Uprose Estate. Alright, so I'll start with Morning After. And I've decided to talk about the lore once I'm actually in the match, as opposed to not being in the match. So I know I can talk easier, get all my thoughts out when I'm just looking at the straight character and observing her sort of entire design here. But I've decided to talk once we've dropped and we're landed, and that is when I'm going to talk about the character. For now, I want to talk somewhat about the stream. So I do want to impose sort of like Bible reading and some sort of like scriptural aspect to the stream. And I don't know if we'll do that before or after. But I do want to introduce that aspect of, as I do want to introduce more things to the stream. There's a webcam on the way. I also want to order an audio interface to connect a guitar and play some cover songs or something in between matches. So there is going to be more to the stream than just Fortnite, but for now it is just Fortnite, and we're going to land soon, and then I'll get into this character. Okay, looking around, looks like enough people are going to go southeast, so I'll drop directly around here. And this must be some other version, because I dropped with a boom sniper and some power gloves. I'll use the boom sniper. I like the boom sniper. I haven't played with the boom sniper in a long time. Nah, but the boom sniper was my gun when I played with it. This is how I would take down buildings. Yeah, someone's not that good. Kind of feel like Green Arrow with this. Alright, but it looks like it came from behind me, even though it attached right in front of me. So that's kind of weird. I'm not quite sure where that guy was. I'm going to drink some of these. Okay, the character. So the character is Morning After. So basically, she is a shapeshifter. Where to start on this character? So her gist is that she has like sex with men, and she will go on to sleep with them and then kill them the morning after and leave. And that's how she sort of gets around. That's how she lives. She doesn't work a job. She doesn't pay rent. That's what she does. And she can shapeshift, so the police never really catch her. She is based on Alita Battle Angel in terms of her sort of initial design. There's a lot of aspects to her design as well. So the sword. Alright, I'm going to take a break from talking about it for a second. But here she is to show off pink and yellow and orange. So those are the key colors to her design. She is let me deal with this guy first. Wow. Man, this game's annoying. So she's just a human. She's just a shapeshifter. That's sort of her power. She's somewhat of a superhero, somewhat of an anti-villain. Alright, now I know you're downstairs. How did you live? You lived with one. Come on. That is seriously really lame. Alright, I did not fully get into this character as much as I thought. It was a little harder to play and talk than I thought. But I think I might play another match because I still wanted to sort of introduce this character. Plus, we didn't get a kill, even though we should have. So we're going to go back in. So this initial design, I took the design because it looked like basically the sun represented by the sleeves of her puffy sweater, as well as the satchel she has around her, which is orange. It sort of represents a body of like the sun, of warmth. You know, the yellow sleeves giving you like a hug. And the bottom of her shoes are this sort of light green. Now that to me I thought looked like the earth, and so you have these big puffy yellow sweater sleeves, meant to represent, you know, like the sun's warmth. A large, you know, body of black in between, like I said, the soles of her feet, which I think the light green sort of represents this, like, earth. And yeah, she sort of represents the sun's warmth, sun's warm rays in a lot of ways. And the crown that she wears, the halo, you know, like this yellow kind of over your head, also works with the design. And finally, the sword sort of fits in because of this back bling. Now the back bling is meant to represent the date, as you know, she's mourning after. She's sort of this like full whole character already, and like I said, she gets around by going on Tinder, scoring some date for the night, and killing the man after. Okay, so we always land with the boom sniper. Alright, there's a kill. Wait, am I in duos? Why did this person drop? What's going on? I don't really know what's going on. Okay, so you have to kill people twice to kill them in this version. Not sure why. Alright, so I guess everybody has a self-revive. I'm going to drop the power gloves. It makes a decent mobility, but I just don't like these things. Dang, seriously? That didn't even make any sense. This game doesn't make any sense. Yeah, and everybody else self-revived except for me. Alright, that's, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this version of Fortnite. Not too accommodated to this. I thought it'd be normal. I didn't think they'd be doing this. But yeah, I don't think that's enough footage for TikTok, so I want to go one more, because this is a real cool character, and I'm not done talking about her. But yeah, so those initial colors, yellow, pink, and orange, meant to represent the feminine, the solar, as well as the halo, and you know, Alita Battle Angel was the sort of initial design that I was going for. So this is an Alita Battle Angel in the sort of modern realm, and yeah, so she is kind of like a robot, kind of like a shapeshifter. I guess every match we could sort of dictate what she But yeah, so she's meant to represent these sort of greater ideals, these greater concepts. And she cooks breakfast in the morning as well. Yeah, that's part of her shtick. As she needs to get access to the table kitchen knives. Yeah, so this is like her getup she puts on in the morning as she's looking for a date, what to do. Usually it's the mall. Alright, these people can be really silly. You know, I really don't get the whole point of the self-revive. Yeah, I'm not really liking this version of Fortnite. I don't really know why it's like this. Dude, no way. What? How did you do that? Man, this game. Alright. We're going to move on, because I believe that was enough footage. I talked about the character enough. But she is a really cool character, I think. She turned out really cool. Yeah. Alright, next we have Ripper. Now, Ripper is based on a scene in this movie. Don't remember the movie right now. So, I'm going to play as Ripper. And like I said, I do not want to talk about the characters up until I'm in the match. I feel like it's much better. It's a much slower build-up of lore rather than just trying to dump everything all at once. Because it is a really... They all have sort of deep lore. Now, this is supposed to be a female swapped, gender swapped Shredder from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So basically, in some sort of hilarious turn of events, Shredder and Krang's plan went awry, and Shredder got turned into a woman. Just before, you know, Jonesy pulled her in or whatever. And she is also a different version of Shredder. This isn't just any Shredder. This version of Shredder is like a designer, and he came up with these spring lever action reversible retractable tekokagi. So these this tekokagi that she has, it's like spring lever retractable, and yeah, so this is my version of the Shredder, and he has Krang on the back. It's a slightly different Krang. It's actually more of a sidekick Krang, as they don't have eyes. So yeah, a little sidekick Krang. Alright, someone's in the vicinity. You're not gonna get me. Yeah, this game's a load of bullshit, man, I swear. We're gonna take it nice and slow. So yeah, so why, if this is Shredder, where is his Kabuto? Well, Shredder is just in the body of a female, as this is not an initial gender swapped Shredder. This is Shredder who got gender swapped. Therefore, this is still Shredder inside of her. So she's so honorable and holds the code so well that as a woman, he decides not to wear the Kabuto. And this is my friend. He wants to 1v1. I'll 1v1 with him later. But we are gonna keep on. I think I'll try a duos no-fill with Shredder, because it is Shredder. And this game is really annoying by giving everyone these like self-revives. It's really annoying. So we're gonna keep it moving. And we're gonna do duos no-fill. And I will probably 1v1 with this person. And then start streaming again. Maybe. Or I can 1v1 them on stream. Can definitely do that. But I'll have to make it interesting. So yeah, so this is basically Shredder and Krang. You gotta move ninja-like when you play as this character. There's not really much to say other than this is Shredder. The only thing there is to explore in the lore is what exactly happened that turned him into a woman. Perhaps only Krang can tell us. Yeah, so once again, everybody has a boom sniper and a self-revive. So, I think I'm probably not even gonna play Fortnite after this match. I'll do something else just within Fortnite, because I did not expect this today, and this is really annoying. So I won't be doing much today, but we still will continue exploring the characters. So I just want to catch up with where I was last time in terms of the characters, before my mic got cut out. And you know, I gotta check the stream, make sure my mic's not cutting out again. We're good. We're gonna continue. And so everything that happens in the real world that affects the game also happens in the game. So we'll just say Shredder started playing with her boobs for a little bit, and that's what happened. And somehow missed that. Very strange. Very strange stuff. I usually don't miss. Very strange, very strange. But let me know what you guys think of the reversible, retractable spring lever action Tekokagi. I think it's cool. There's not really a Tekokagi pickaxe in the game. Figured the closest thing there was Wolverine's claws. And, you know, I made it work. And Shredder obviously doesn't fear the law, so yes, he can steal a cop car. And perhaps I should make a TikTok just regarding that and some other rules. Typically, only fascists are allowed the cop cars. The rebels are allowed the cop cars if they are, one, so worthy of having a cop car. Basically, if you have the gall to steal one, you can have it. So, yeah, not every single rebel has one. But Shredder isn't big with this. Okay, lag there. I lagged there. In terms of rules, perhaps the only rule is if you see a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, you have to stop what you're doing and go kill them. Don't really know what other rules to set around Shredder. Other than, I don't know. I mean, he's not a very honorable person, so he's not going to fight honorably. Yeah, the only set rule is if you see a Ninja Turtle, go kill them. And can this also still be Katana from Mortal Kombat? Yes, this can also be Katana from Mortal Kombat. But I would have to change the items around to actually fit that. Because as it stands, simply the design of the character, excuse me, represents, like I said, Shredder as a woman. And I don't know Ooh. Alright, these are a couple bots. Just a couple of bots. I don't know how that guy dropped. Looks like the other guy actually got away. There he is. To expand on the lore, we should probably try to look for something special, because in the show, Shredder sort of unofficially runs some sort of like crime organization, but he's always trying to steal something. So here, let's take that car. Alright, looks like there's a bunch of destruction in this direction. Alright, here's some shots. Okay, very quick. Yeah, it's done. Wow, that guy was really, really quick. Not much comedy, I know, but I just wanted to introduce the character, and other than, you know, knowing that it is Shredder, I don't really know what to say, unless you just don't know about Shredder from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Then I suppose I have more to explain, you know. But yeah, that is my take on that skin, that design. Okay, I've already shown you pretty much all of these characters except for Gas Drift Continued. Whenever I happen to play as Gas Drift Continued, it does not end well. I just can't get any good matches out of this guy. I could try again. I could talk about Gas Drift Continued and try again. But I just wanted to introduce this one last character to sort of catch us up to where the stream was. And then I can move on to Alibi Paper. And then Adlanius, Option A, Codename Pupsy, and Piran, Marigo. These are all sort of dark humor characters. Except for Piran, Marigo. Yeah, the universe starts to slowly get dark. So first we are in, I also changed the back wing, but we are in this sort of superhero stage of it before it's the universe sort of reveals more of itself, and we get into some of the other characters and things kind of progress and stuff like that. So this is Gas Drift Continued. Okay, I also did not talk about Knockback Squad. So these are like 3 characters, but these characters are very important sort of regarding the lore. These characters not so much. These characters are mostly rebels. pretty much except for Swamp Sorceress. But like I said, I want to introduce it all in order because it all sort of works with each other. And, you know, time sort of does. Like, this character wouldn't exactly be around here in this sort of era. This character would sort of pop up later. But anyway, let's try Gas Drift Continued. Actually, I don't know. Because he's not so much as important to the lore as these two. But I do need to talk about him in order to talk about Knock Knock Squad. Before that, I want to talk about Uprose Estate. Now, who is Uprose Estate? Once again, I'm going to play a match. Okay, my friend went offline. But all of the matches are going to be... that weird thing with the boom snipers. I'm assuming it's just for today, but we'll go 0 build for a while. So, Uprose Estate. I actually have to use the bathroom, but I will come back. And then we will play with Uprose Estate. Alright, we are back. I'm going to set my phone up so I can look at the chat real quick. And we will commence. As Uprose state. So if you've ever played Resident Evil, this character might sort of resonate with you. It's a good piece of sort of outer what's the word, like horror science fiction of the, who's that one guy that wrote about Cthulhu? The Lovecraftian variety. So he basically is an honorable character, so he must fight. Honorable meaning I must. I cannot flank. I can send others to flank. However, I cannot flank myself. And I gotta look them in the eyes when I kill them. So no sneaking around either. That's sort of ninja play is only for characters like Shredder. So it looks like it doesn't really matter what game mode you play on any official Battle Royale. Everyone's got the self-revives and everyone's got a boom sniper. I suppose we'll just have to entertain for today. So cosmic horror was the term that I was looking for. Basically being afraid of the great beyond or what you do not understand. Which was Lovecraft just being afraid of God, because he is a little bitch. But anyway, this is a piece of Lovecraftian horror science fiction. So basically, Uprose Estate is from another dimension. One that is similar to Bizarro World from Superman, or the sort of other side in Stranger Things. So basically, there's this evil cult who is building these temples that sort of turn the earth into this battery. And this is to put sort of extra energy to sort of supercharge the earth and put this extra energy into the atmosphere. Now, why are they doing this? So, as you might know, or you may not know, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So all of the set amount of mass in here is what we have. But of course, you can sort of chemically change things. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to take the energy from the core of the planet and bring it out so that there's extra energy actually in the atmosphere. Now what this will do is when they build this portal that they're building, that's also a part of their plans other than the temples to supercharge the earth, is to allow this being that they worship out into our sort of realm. Because energy cannot be created nor destroyed, it needs this sort of extra amount of energy so that once it can walk through the portal, it will simply like take form, and it can actually take some sort of physical form now that there's the energy granted that it can do that. So after the church, the cult, my apologies, summons this creature from the other side, and they successfully build the portal. Upro's estate murders all of them because he finds what they're doing to be evil. Because this is a creature of incredible honor. And once he is in this realm, he simply goes and destroys all that he sees is evil. And he's basically Hercules with a chicken head. As he comes from this sort of bizarro dimension. He is a really, really cool character. Like I said, he fights very honorably. No flanking. No sneaking. I have to look him in the eye. And just like Hercules, I actually bought a brand new back bling. As opposed to the cape, he actually cuts the head off of the leader of the cult. He just keeps it as a trophy. And I thought it sort of mimicked Medusa. All right. So that is Upro's estate. Looks like someone's trying to get away from me. Oof. Yeah. That did not count my shotgun shot. I hit that guy. Not sure why he lived. Very strange, but this game, you know, this game doesn't always reward the guy with the better shot. So he doesn't care. Okay, so Knock Knock Squad and Gas Strip continued. Do go along, because in order to sort of have this character, I kind of have to explain this character. But again, like I said, whenever I play this character, it doesn't always end up well. But we can try again. Okay, now Gas Drift is a burn victim from this accident with the flying car that he used to have. Now he is a burn victim, and he has some of the pieces of metal sort of jabbed and mangled into him. So there's pieces of metal like sticking out of him. And yeah, so it's also still kind of like burning from the freak accident. So it sort of turns into these wings. And basically he's meant to portray the allegory of the fallen angel. As he once took up a very similar form. You know, as he's a burn victim, it's almost like he's constantly in the red suit. And his car is now a part of him. And so could you say this character is a cyborg? I guess it's sort of up to you. But yeah, there's not much to introduce, as this character is actually Gas Drift. You should already know him. Wow, how did you hit that? Oh, I know how. It looks like there's a rival in that direction. Wow. It's safe to say that gas drift sort of works alone, as he took up arms with Betty Bow when he was just gas drift, but now he just works alone. And it's not because anybody doesn't want to work with him, doesn't support his cause, doesn't like him anymore. It's simply due to the fact that he is a burn victim. You're panicking. And also his nunchuck got just turned into these chains. Ooh. But what the character is meant to represent is sort of true beauty. Thus, the fallen angel. I know one more shot would have gotten that guy, so we're not going to let him get away. I shouldn't have thrown down that pizza. Oh well. Wow. Wow. That doesn't make any sense. But we're going back to lobby. We're gonna move on because I fully introduced Gas Drift Continued. He's a pretty cool guy. That was totally a load BS. This game usually is. Alibi paper. So alibi paper simply represents a crip living in the hood. But alibi paper is no ordinary crip, because he has eyes that see certain things, and certain things are sort of pointed out to him as he has lived his whole life wearing blue, seeing blue, and centering himself around the philosophy of seeing blue. And so that kind of helps shape literally the way he sees the world. And that's why I gave him this drop. So he does have this crowbar as his pickaxe, and the cards on the back are meant to represent his gambling addiction, as he can't stop playing cards. And that is alibi paper. Yeah, so this is alibi paper. We'll see how far we get. Hopefully farther than Gas Drift. Who knows? So he centers his whole life around the philosophy of the color blue. Except for his car. His car is, of course, the color red. Now what this character is supposed to represent is how color can affect your life, but specifically colors that you wear. and the mentality of associating a team with a specific color. But he is just as well an individual as well. When he isn't breaking into people's houses, he's playing cards with the fellas. So due to his card playing addiction, he's learned to take things slow. And I just now remembered, I actually skipped over Knock Knock Squad. And I got into the dark humor characters a little bit early. I actually wanted to establish more of the lore. But it's fine because we can go do that right after. I'm gonna pick up a pistol because I'm better with that. I see someone in the distance. It's just his bot. I don't actually think this bot has any player attached. Not sure why it's hostile. But I've been falsely accused once before, so we're gonna have to drop that guy. Or profiled, I should say. I've been profiled before, so I had to drop that guy. very, very tempting. Ooh, and I just realized I'm an anti-hero. Yeah, we'll say he's a neutral party. I'm not gonna say he's a rebel, because he is a gang member. So he's simply for his gang, not any particular political affiliation. But I was going to say he cannot use the M16 because he's a rebel. But someone from the hood can buy something illegal, learn how to use it. So, we'll let him have it. It's one of these. Yeah, that's really dumb. Yeah, I should have been quicker to shoot. Don't know, I'm afraid of my own accuracy. But that was Alibi Paper. Now he pairs with this other guy. Whose name is Stack Up Front. Now, I won't be playing with Stack Up Front right now, but Stack Up Front is a blood. Okay, here is Knock Knock Squad. I'm gonna be playing a duos no-fill just for this character. And then I can maybe get into about half of the rest of the dark humor characters before we move on to the more lore building characters that aren't so dark necessarily. So this is Knock Knock Squad. Knock Knock Squad basically serves as the SWAT of this universe, except they aren't really a branch of the military. They're actually a sort of private militia owned by a corporation. The same corporation that owns the Fodder, a character I've previously introduced in a TikTok. So basically, Fodder is sort of experimental being that they use to keep control through these things on their back that is attached actually through their nerves. And basically, it will shock their nerves if they sort of disobey. Now they also have these mechanical dragons, mechanical, computerized as well, part computer, part mechanical dragons that are AI, and they serve to look after the fodder to make sure they don't get too far. I mistake that for a rifle. Wow, I killed myself. Okay, we gotta get out of here. What the hell was that? Alright, we gotta play another match. Alright, it is 5. I started streaming at 3, so it's like, what, maybe an hour or 2 hours. Let's check this. Okay, so he is basically the SWAT in this game. So the reason that the design is Daredevil but darkened is because the corporation that decided to move on from the fodder as they were just sort of, excuse me, experimental creatures used to develop the technology to actual soldiers. Decided to design their sort of squadrons to look like gas drift after the accident, as you know, the suit got burned up, so there's technically no more gas drift on the streets anymore, or at least just not in that particular form anymore. And so they decided to do this sort of mocking thing in which they designed their suits to sort of mimic gas drift as a sort of like haha. But these guys basically are expendable soldiers. They don't particularly have any particular personality out of either being the squadron leader and giving orders or just taking orders. I'm gonna need to get some more footage for a TikTok, so I'm gonna do one more just for the footage. I think I might get out of the duos because it's not. It's a little skewed. So I'll keep it 0 build, but I'm just gonna do solo. Just to get a little bit of footage for Knock Knock Squad. And his Daredevil's batons basically are replaced with the mace. So why do the Knock Knock Squad take up arms with this machine actually attached to their body, similar to V6 or Fission V6, another character that I have introduced in a TikTok, not on a live stream? It's just for the money. So the character is allegorical for a lot of things. First of all, the initial silhouette of the design, not including exactly how it looks, is actually supposed to mimic Hawkman from DC Comics. But the character actually stands for a lot of things. You know, of course, the character is a fascist. But, you know, more than that, you know, the character serves to show sort of illusions, as he has these things that sort of look like angel wings, but is, of course, meant to damage or shock him if he disobeys. The mace is just meant to appear sort of non-lethal to people that may see them raiding something out in public. It's mainly just for the public image. Of course, he doesn't use it in a non-lethal way. And the character is literally meant to look like a rebel, or to mimic that of which was a rebel. Sort of meant to sort of show like propaganda, like in a character. As you know, Daredevil has these spikes on his head, making him look like the devil. But when you add wings, it sort of looks like a bat. So does he look like a bat, or does he look like an angel? Sort of up to you. He is supposed to sort of be an optical illusion. Okay, that did not seem right, but that should be just enough footage to put together a TikTok. So that is the initial lore. There's a sort of secret hidden war going on as technology advances. Different characters pop up from different places. The hood sort of becomes more spiritual, more aware, more philosophical. As people like Alibi Paper start to show up, as he actually takes up a philosophy from just the color blue. And here we have more individuals that pop up that sort of see what's going on in the background. Enter Adelanius. Now, Adelanius is really hard to explain. He is the last of the two characters that are very dark humor. Before I sort of continue, Piran Marigo, like I said, isn't so dark even. But neither is like Givia Marigo. So we're gonna leave those for when that comes. Antonio Roughhouse isn't really dark humor. And yeah, so there you go. So here is Adelanius. Very, very interesting character and one of my personal favorites. But as you know, I'm not going to begin to describe this character until after we've jumped. Okay, so Adelanius is actually an archaeologist, and he is a man that is proud of his African Zulu heritage. So he went to college, he became an archaeologist, and later he took up martial arts, and now, well, he's just a straight up insane person. So Adelanius is someone who, like I said, is very, very proud of his Zulu heritage. And as an archaeologist, he got really, really into history. And one thing that he simply could never understand, and nobody could ever really truly answer for him, was how did the Zulus lose to the Romans? And so this is something that he spent his entire life trying to answer. And he became so obsessed with the Romans, particularly Roman weaponry, and just how the Romans strategize and operate, that he basically became a Roman himself. So he just at first started using Roman weaponry, thinking how could this possibly be superior to a spear? And just delving into Roman culture, thinking how could this enemy possibly defeat the Zulus? And basically it sent him insane to the point where he only really uses Roman weapons, Roman strategies. Almost to an extent that he's no longer Zulu. And that is Adelanius, a man who wears Zulu armor but fights with Roman weaponry, despite hating them. Legendary cube rifle. I think I might take this. And so that could be a rule with the character, is I have to play with weapons that I hate. Or at least one. I always forget boots on the ground. Jumping always kills me. But Adelanius doesn't actually know his own name, because in order to fulfill all of the conditions for him to scientifically break down how the Romans were superior to the Zulus, he had to erase his own name. So the allegory of Adelanius is the only way a culture could possibly defeat your culture is if they make you forget. Because the Romans won over this Zulu who continued to thrive in the modern world by simply making him forget who he fundamentally is. And that is Adelanius. Next is option A. Now, option A, you could interpret as just another criticism of the current president. But that is not just option A, because option A is from a completely different universe. And option A serves to push socialism. So option A never actually wants to be in the games. He is always somehow forced or pushed into it. So he's always very scared and skittish and is always running around, especially after killing someone. He never really wants to be in one place for too long. He's also, because of that, a master at range. Basically, he wants to stay away from everybody as much as possible. But he still has some of the technology granted to him through access to the military, as well as this ancient cutlass from the American Revolutionary times. And as he's a fascist, he deserves to have the M16 over the AK. I nearly forgot to mention. Oh. Yum yum. Pizza. Looks like money doesn't serve me anymore. This guy got away. So here's some flying wings he managed to grab from the secret armory hidden in the White House that he uses as a glider. Because originally, he was just supposed to get thrown off of the bus and die hitting the ground. But if he did not steal from the American people, he wouldn't be alive. Hold on, I can get this jump. Not my forte. And that was option A. But that has been about 2 hours, maybe a little bit less. So we're gonna take a break from Fortnite. Instead, I'm gonna stream something else. So I usually read the King James Bible. But I think I'm gonna read a little bit of the Ethiopian version. So, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now, the earth was without shape and empty, and darkness was over the surface of the watery deep. But the Spirit of God was moving over the surface of the water. God said, "Creation of light." And there was light. God saw that the light was good. So God separated the light from the darkness. God called the day, and the darkness night. There was evening, and there was morning, marking the first day. God said, "Let there be an expanse in the midst of the waters, and let it separate water from water." So God made the expanse and separated the water. Under the expanse from the water above it, it was so. So what this is describing is the great kaboom, the Big Bang. So God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was without shape and empty, and darkness was over. Basically, it hasn't happened yet. Over the surface of the watery deep. But the surface of God was moving over the surface of the water. God said, "Creation of light," and there was light. God saw that the light was good, so God separated the light from the darkness. What is actually going on? Space is the ether. Space is layers of blue over layers of blue over layers of blue over layers of blue, which is why we see it as black. Now, the Big Bang was the first hint of red. This red exploded. Thus creating the first spark, which was the color yellow. The Big Bang was actually incredibly small. It was just a spark in the ether. But that was all that was needed just to create heat. God saw that the light was good, so he separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day and the darkness night. There was evening and there was morning, marking the first day. God said, "Let there be an expanse in the midst of the waters, let it separate the water from the water." Another word for a sea of blue ether. God called the expanse sky. There was evening and there was morning. One place, a second day, God said, let the water under the sky be gathered to one place, and let dry ground appear. It was so. God called the dry ground land, and the gathered waters he called seas. God saw it was good, and God said, "Let the land produce vegetation." The first glimpse of the color green. After creating the colors orange and brown, after the initial spark of the yellow created by the first ever hint of red. Plants yielding seeds according to their kinds, and trees bearing fruit with seed in it according to their kinds. It was so. The land produced vegetation, plants yielding seeds according to their. God saw that it was good. There was evening, and there was a morning, a third day. God said, "Let there be light in the expanse of the sky to separate the day from the night, and let them be signs to indicate seasons and days and years. Let them serve as lights in the expanse of the sky to give light on the earth." It was so. God made two great lights, a greater light to rule over the day, and a lesser light to rule over the night. He made the stars also. So what is the moon and what is the sun? The sun must be some constant heat, and the moon must reflect the sun. So, how do the colors yellow and white work in conjunction to themselves? Well, that is to debate Which is more bright, yellow or white? A discussion I will not entertain right now. Let there be. Hold on. God placed the lights in the. There was an evening and there was a morning, a fourth day. God said, "Let the water swarm with swarms of living creatures, and let the birds fly above the earth, across the expanse of the sky." The seas are meant to represent an ever placenta, a womb for the beings of the planet. The birds represent freedom and escaping from needing further help other than the individual being itself. Because flying and swimming are two of the same, except much different environments. God created the great sea creatures and every living and moving thing with which the waters swarmed, according to their kinds, and every winged bird according to its kind. God saw that it was good. God blessed them and said, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the water in the seas, and let the birds multiply on the earth." I guess no one was a part of the Mile High Club yet. There was evening and there was morning, a fifth day. God said, "Let the land produce living creatures according to their kinds, cattle, creeping things, and wild animals, each according to its kind. Cattle according to their kind, and all the creatures that creep along the ground according to their kinds." God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let the humankind in our image, after our likeness. Let us make humankind in our image, after our likeness, so they may rule over the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, over the cattle, and all over the earth, all over the creatures that move on the earth." God created humankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. God blessed them and said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it. Rule over the fish of the sea, and the birds of the air, and every creature that moves on the ground." Then God said, "I now give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the entire earth, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They will be yours for food. And to all the animals of the earth, they will be yours. And to every bird of the air, and to all the creatures on the ground, on the creatures that move on the ground, everything that has the breath of life in it. I give every green plant for food. It was so. God saw that he had made. God saw all that he had made, and it was very good. There was evening, and there was morning, the sixth day. The heavens and the earth were completed. So I guess we'll see what happens to mankind. We will put a little pin in it and come back later. So that was a little bit of what I wanted to introduce to the stream. I think it actually works a lot better in between matches than to maximize our Fortnite playing and then study scripture. So I think I'd actually like to continue with code name Pupsy. Now, code name Pupsy is just like code name Playset. He is a Japanese porn star who is using blonde hair dye and blue-eyed contacts to appear as European. Because he wants to make small penises more accommodated with the public. But he is actually a part of this evil organization represented by the Cobra. What this organization entails, we actually do not know, because Pupsy is just working for them. And here he is, a spy in the flesh. So we'll go ahead and play a match with him, but I'm now going to turn on ranked.
How do we know?
Now, I'm not going to play too much champion, as this takes a lot of brain power. But I want to continue to introduce Pupsy, because he's a really cool character. Now he's not your typical spy that puts himself out in the open. He has a different way of dismantling systems, but not from the inside out. He is more like a ninja, like G.I. Joe. The character is very much based off of G.I. Joe. Except Cobra now operates in secret. Okay, that doesn't really make sense how that guy hit me. So we're gonna play another match. Because I still want to show off the ability of Pupsy. But Piran Marigot is actually sisters for Givia Marigot, so I don't want to introduce them yet. I've also been streaming for about 2.5-ish hours now. I probably am going to keep it to a 3-hour minimum. So this might be the last match. And Pupsy is also a fascist, so I can't use AK-47s, only M16s. Looks like we have our first victim. I think I heard my guy. Wow. He must have had an extra mag. Doesn't make sense. I think I might go one more try with Pupsy, as I definitely should have won that battle. I'm going to be aware of that guy. Ninja mode activated. It should be plenty to work with. Yeah, those shots did not hit me. Kind of would like to go one more, but I'm kind of overdoing the character a bit. Yeah, that did not make sense. Those shots went right over me. It just included it in my hitbox. Yeah, it didn't really hit me. But the game can be deceiving. So, I could definitely do one more. But we're gonna finish things off slowly. We'll do a build match. Just to end the stream and get a decent bit of content. So here we go, dropping down. Didn't know how to use that. I don't know how to use that. Not going to get me, you pig-headed American. Alright, that could fulfill enough content for now. I've introduced another good bit of the universe. There's lots of crazy things happening. Corrupt churches, temples that actually serve as batteries. We got a militia that tortures its own soldiers. We have a man driven to insanity by history. And the Cobra now works in secrecy, but is once again revived. I think I'll leave it at that. It's been a fun stream. I started streaming at around 3 something. It's now 6. I said I would go up until 8, but I said I would slowly build that up. So that's what we'll do. Now that it is 6, I'll stop it, and we'll slowly add more time. It's been great. I'm glad. I'm very happy with how the stream turned out. I hope you all enjoy the TikTok clips and tune in again. Goodbye.